I've always been one of those people who document everything. My breakfasts, my outfits, sunsets, lazy Sundays on the balcony. I wasn't chasing followers. I just liked the idea of preserving small pieces of my life, little digital fragments of who I was at that moment. It felt comforting, almost like journaling. That's probably why the first time it happened, I didn't think much of it. It was just a photo, one I'd taken on a quiet Sunday morning, coffee in hand, with sunlight spilling through the curtains behind me. The caption was simple: "Quiet mornings." I uploaded it, liked a few comments, and went on with my day. That night, while scrolling through notifications, I saw a comment that made me stop. "She's right behind you." My stomach did a strange twist, equal parts curiosity and unease. I opened the photo again, zooming in on the reflection behind me, the glass sliding door leading to my living room. That's when I saw it. A shape. Vague, dark, human. It was faint, almost like a smudge, but there was a pale curve that looked like a face turned slightly toward me. I told myself it was a trick of the light, a shadow from a curtain or the corner of a chair. But something about it felt deliberate. I deleted the post, embarrassed. The next morning, it was back on my profile. Same caption, same comments, same timestamp, as if I'd never deleted it. My phone was the only one I used. No one else had my password. I changed it anyway, along with my email, thinking maybe someone had hacked me. But after that, every new post began to have something wrong with it. It started subtly, a blur in the mirror, a faint silhouette near a window. But then it grew worse. I'd post a photo at the park, and later, when I checked, there'd be someone standing in the background who hadn't been there. Once, I posted a picture of my cat sleeping on the couch, and when I zoomed in, I saw a face peeking from behind the curtain, pale, smiling faintly. I stopped posting for a while. I deleted the app, but somehow, people started tagging me in photos I hadn't taken. Strangers' photos. Random people would tag my username under pictures of streets, rooms, corners. The captions were all the same. "She's here." I created a new account, used a different name, new email, private everything. It felt clean, safe. For a few months, nothing happened. But then one morning, I woke to a notification that someone had tagged me in a post. I didn't recognize the account. The profile was empty except for one image, a close-up of me, asleep in bed. The picture had been taken from outside my window. I moved to a new apartment, deleted every trace of my old online life. But a few days ago, a friend texted me, asking why I'd reactivated my account. She sent a link. The page looked exactly like mine, but every picture was slightly different. The lighting off, my expressions just a little wrong, the shadows longer than they should have been. The last post was new, a photo of me sitting on that same balcony, coffee in hand. The caption read, "Quiet mornings." She finally sees me. I've always been a night owl. I'd spend hours browsing online forums, places where strangers shared pieces of their lives without the filters and polish of big social media platforms. I liked the honesty of it, the late-night vulnerability that came when no one knew who you were. That's where I first got a message from someone with the username everawake. Their profile was empty, no photo, no bio, just that one name. Their first message was simple: "You shouldn't be up this late." I smiled at my screen, thinking it was some kind of joke. I replied, "Neither should you." Within seconds, another message appeared. "I'm not like you." The phrasing was odd, but I brushed it off. I asked where they were from. The reply came instantly: "I'm from where you are." That was the first time I felt a flicker of unease. I hadn't posted anything about my location on that forum, not even a time zone. "What do you mean?" I typed. The typing dots appeared immediately. Those three little bubbles that tell you someone is responding. They stayed there for what felt like a full minute before the message arrived. "You live near the old water tower, right?" My hands froze on the keyboard. There was no way anyone could know that. My profile was anonymous, my email encrypted, my posts never mentioned landmarks. I typed, "Who is this?" But before I could hit send, another message appeared. "You shouldn't leave your window open." Every hair on my neck stood up. I turned around. The window behind me was cracked open, just enough for the curtain to move. I slammed it shut, locked it, and shut off my computer. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, the messages were gone. The username didn't exist anymore. No history, no logs, nothing. I convinced myself it was a troll, some weird coincidence. I even told friends the story later, laughing about how creeped out I'd been. But a few weeks later, it happened again. On a different platform, entirely. I was scrolling through messages on my phone, and there it was. A new request from Everawake. My hands went cold. The app wasn't even one I used often. The message field was blank, but the typing dots had already appeared. They stayed there for several minutes, those same patient bubbles pulsing at the bottom of the screen. I stared at it, waiting for the message to appear. It never did. Eventually, I closed the app, turned off my phone, and went to bed. When I woke up, my phone was already on, the screen glowing in the dark room. The app was open. The typing dots were still there. That was over a year ago. I've changed phones since then, changed numbers, deleted everything. But sometimes, late at night, I'll get that small vibration from my pocket. I'll check, and there'll be nothing on the screen. Just a faint glow. Sometimes I think I see those 3 little dots, waiting. When I joined a new social media app for readers, I thought I'd found something special. A small, kind corner of the internet where people still cared about words and stories. The community was quiet and genuine. That's where I met June. She was one of my first followers, and we clicked right away, swapping book recommendations, quotes, even long messages about our lives. She was warm, funny, always online when I was. We talked for months. She told me she lived a few towns over, that she was shy about video calls, that her camera never worked right. I didn't push. She sent photos sometimes, blurry ones of books, her desk, a mug of tea, ordinary things. But she always seemed to know what I was doing. Once she messaged, "I like the yellow sweater you wore today." I hadn't posted any photos that week. I'd worn that sweater to the grocery store that morning. It unnerved me, but I brushed it off. Maybe I'd mentioned it online without realizing. Maybe coincidence. Still, something in me started to pull away. Our chats became less frequent. Then one night, she messaged, "Don't ignore me." I stared at the screen. Before I could reply, she sent another. "I just want to see you again." The phrasing made my chest tighten. I blocked her account immediately. The next morning, it was gone. Completely deleted. I felt relief until 2 weeks later when I started getting emails from the app. Password reset requests, notifications, follower updates. But all addressed to June. Somehow, my email had become linked to her profile. I reached out to support, but they couldn't find any record of her username. The account didn't exist in their database. A month passed quietly. Then one afternoon, I got a notification. New post from June. My blood ran cold. I clicked the link without thinking. The profile was back, but now the display picture was me. My name, my bio, my posts, copied exactly. Only one thing was different. There were new photos, places I went, my apartment building, my favorite cafe, all recent. The last post was uploaded that morning. It was a picture of my front door, taken from outside, in the dark. The caption read, "See you soon." I moved shortly after, changed my name online, deleted every trace of my accounts. I don't use social media anymore, but every now and then, I get an email from a platform I've never joined. The message is always the same. "Welcome back, June. We live our lives in glass houses now, scrolling, sharing, performing small versions of ourselves for a world we can't see." Every click, every post, every photo leaves a trace. We build these digital reflections and trust that we control them, that they belong to us. But sometimes, the reflection looks back. Maybe the real horror of the online world isn't who's watching. It's what we've created, our other selves. The ones that never log off, never sleep, never stop existing in the code and pixels we leave behind. And when we finally disconnect, when we turn off the screen and walk away, we like to think the world stops watching. But somewhere, an old account still glows in the dark, waiting for us to look again.